Teamwork makes the dream work. Good afternoon. Well, it's still good morning officially, but we take a look at the jumbo shrimp hat on. Last week, of course, we had the Father's Day shirt on. Today, it's all about baseball weather. So, one special thing about First Coast News is that family feel we have here as a team, as a family. So we're all going to be having a nice little picnic out at the ballpark. Now, it's going to be a hot one, but we're going to find our shady spot, and you should too. So if you're not coming downtown, head on to the St. Augustine Alligator Farm. I found a shady spot for you. There you go. But I wouldn't share it with that alligator down there. You see him right there? I want to thank Katrina for setting that up for us. Yeah, there he is in the water. All right, so don't get too close to the gators. But again, today's all about the heat and finding some of those shady spots here on the First Coast. Also, we've been talking about finding a friend with a boat today. And when we say find a friend with a boat, there's one right there, the Volano Beach boat ramp. You're looking live at some folks trying to find their cool spot. The coolest spot I could find on the First Coast this morning was a sandbar forecast. I did that up for Fort George, the most popular sandbar here on the First Coast. I've been talking to a lot of boaters there, and Captain Alvarez, he said Fort George is pretty busy. You can go to some of the other unheralded ones like Crab Island, areas like, there's so many of them. Bayonet Point as you get toward the Shands Bridge, and we take a look there. Pineapple Point, you can't forget that, toward areas of Julington Creek. So today, folks, I said, got to stay on the sandbar, stay in the water, find that cool spot because it's hot. It's not just typical heat we normally see on the First Coast. After all, we're now heading toward July, and we're talking about feels like temperatures of 105 to 110. So that's when nature takes it to the next level and ups its game, its heat game. And speaking of the game, the big game, Jumbo Shrimp, they are hosting at 2:05 first pitch, and it's going to be a lot of fun out there at the ballpark. So you see the beautiful green fields there, basking in the sunshine. What I'm focusing on, there's plenty of shade. See in the right field line, there's Power Alley, and there's a little air-conditioned spot where you can get some food and some drinks, and you can hydrate well. And there's plenty of more shade around that ballpark where you can walk around. So again, if you're one of the folks in the stands in that sunshine, just take frequent breaks, and we should be A-OK. We're going to beat this heat wave together. All right, let's come on back and take a look at those numbers. And I want to thank Katrina for the nice tour. That was beautiful. I loved it. We got 88 degrees right now, Neptune Beach, 87 St. Augustine. Prangley Runner Index, 8, a great 8 to start, but we said it's not going to last long. It's quickly fallen to about 5, and then it'll be down to 2 here in the next hour because as we factor in the humidity, notice here downtown, I showed you the Jumbo Shrimp Ballpark there at ViStar, and we feel like 99 in St. Augustine. This is 11 o'clock in the morning, so officially we don't have a heat advisory. 95 in Neptune Beach. We're going to be pretty much feeling as hot as we have all summer long. And we do have a couple spots, though, that are in that heat advisory. If anything, you know what? As the day goes on, we may see more heat advisories. And if not today, tomorrow. All right, so we know the story. We got the story either way. Today's beach getaway showed you the boats. Katrina zoomed in on the Volano Beach ramp. There is some good news. The west wind that I originally forecasted at 10 to 15 miles per hour, I said, well, there's a high confidence it's going to be hot at the beach. The question is, would we get the sea breeze today? I am forecasting for a sea breeze to start to set in as we head toward between 2 and 3 o'clock. So that's good news. That will keep highs on the beach closer to 90, 92 instead of the mid-90s. All right, now don't count on any cooling showers. You see the highest rain chance I have at Anastasia Island. Most of that rain would be well south of Jacksonville today, 20%. But hot enough, right? St. Simons, Amelia Island, we're hydrating, watching that UV index, all right, up to 11. But again, sandbars and beaches, that's what it's all about. In fact, for our fishing forecast, the triggerfish is biting out there. Is that a dolphin on the left side? I see a little fin there. That's a dolphin there. You see him? Okay, so Fort George, one of the most popular sandbar on the First Coast, 88 degrees. Now, you'll need a friend with a boat, or maybe you're one of the lucky ones with a boat to get there, all right? Not expecting rain. There's still going to be a bit of a moderate chop on the intercoastal, okay? Now, if you're fishing offshore, we have seas 2 to 3 feet, and there's that east wind. Now, we started with a southwest wind. Pineapple Point, that's toward Julington Creek, down there in St. Johns County. I don't see the big thunderstorm complex like we saw yesterday. Was that incredible? 2 storms merged as one. So we had John, he updated me here. He said they had almost 2 inches of rain. A lot of that in an hour. We're not going to see that today. All right, so that's good for us trying to cool down at Pineapple Point. If you're fishing out toward Bayard Point, okay, a little farther south toward the Shands Bridge, you may see some building clouds, but probably you'll be looking south. All right, I put in a 30% chance of a storm late day, early evening, but again, low chances of rain. We've got a moderate chop there on the intercoastal and a forecast high temperature of 89 degrees, surrounded by that water. All right, so send in your sandbar pictures, your fishing pictures. We'll keep them coming. Now, UV index 11. Our bodies are having a hard enough time staying cool in this type of pattern. So just keep in mind, we'll need the sunscreen. We'll need to reapply the sunscreen. That extreme 11, okay, and that's a big deal here. So I know we're used to the hot, direct sun, but just a reminder, you can get a sunburn time in 10 minutes or less. There's our jumbo shrimp forecast. Baseball's never been hotter. That was the old saying for the Jacksonville Suns. I still have got some Suns gear. I took my kids to the Suns games here when they were little ones. We had so much fun out there. And jumbo shrimp, baseball's never been so hotter and so much fun out there. 95, 96. It's pretty interesting. You see the 20% chance of a shower. Here downtown, I said that sea breeze is going to try to come in and help us. Maybe by 5 o'clock. But right now the models are saying, well, it's a lazy sea breeze. It's going to be tough to get downtown. So, again, we're hydrating well. Here First Coast News, we're celebrating family and each other and spending some good time together outside of work. And it should be good. It should be good. We'll have plenty of water to drink and we'll hydrate well. We look at those current conditions. Let's take a look. Now, we want to verify that forecast. I like the local, but it looks like Jacksonville has been moved. So Jacksonville literally, not sure how that happened. As we know, Jacksonville's up here, and the current conditions right now, as we were talking about, are up to 89 degrees. All right, and then we have heat index close to 100. There we go. Computer's not doing strange things. We got Jacksonville in the right spot. Yeah, there we go. 97 is our forecast high. One thing to note across the country, we were talking about this in Good Morning Jacksonville last week. We said the heat wave is building. Look at Dallas, Oklahoma City, Lincoln, Nebraska. All right, so I've already warned my folks and my family back in the Midwest. Up in D.C., the nation's capital, a lot of internships going on up there. Yeah, some locals up there. And so I've passed the word on. I said, hey, you're in my old stomping grounds, and it gets hot in D.C. You've been lucky so far this summer, but they're gonna hit 101, 102 degrees, it looks like, by Thursday. Let's take a look. There's Monday. Okay, you see the theme, see more red spreading north. Look at Minneapolis. They're going to be as hot as we are. 98 tomorrow, 96 Minneapolis, 90s. Wow. Okay, 94 in Syracuse. Look at Boston, sizzling at 90. There's D.C., 99 degrees. Pretty impressive. Big heat dome taking up much of the country. So what happens in these heat domes, you got the jet stream retreating north, sinking air, high pressure, and it's tough to get much in the way of cooling storms. So look at New York City. Look at D.C. We're talking 101 degrees as we head into Thursday, July 2nd. So I know we're getting ready. There's a lot of travelers out there. Oh boy, yeah, we got some travel plans for sure. We'll be updating travel weather throughout Good Morning Jacksonville all week. And just know you're going to have to dress coolly. Just be cooler than ever, okay? And this is a heat wave taking up much of the country. There's Phoenix, L.A., maybe the far west, okay? You want to escape the heat, head to L.A. or San Francisco. But the rest of us, sizzling. If there's one trend, if you've been paying attention, I've been focusing in a little farther north for travelers, 100 in Dallas there on Thursday. Our temperatures here at home, they're going to cool down. We've got change in the air. Back down to 90 as we head into late week, maybe upper 80s. So a shift in the winds are really going to help us by late week. And really the hottest part of the week is today and tomorrow. But there's all the heat alerts. They're already up to Minneapolis, Minnesota, extreme heat warnings. These aren't just heat advisories there. And then here at home, we are watching that dome because the next couple of days, I expect heat advisories here at home. There's the dome bringing all the heat. Feels like temperatures well above 100. And we do have an official heat alert, or heat advisory for Glenn County and Brunswick today. So here's the deal. We've got 97 for our forecast high in Jacksonville. The average is 91. And we take a look at the feels like temperature of 107 in the shade. Here's the next 5 days. There it is, 107, 108. So that's why we have one heat advisory already. Would not be surprised to see some more this afternoon. If not today, more tomorrow for more of us. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we are going to see at least temperatures closer to where they should be this time of year. We're going to start to cool off. But real quick, if you're just joining us here on the streaming show, Not much in the way of storms today. That's the change. We've lowered the rain chance to 30%, maybe an isolated storm south. Go to the beach for relief. Some sea breezes moving in this afternoon, but most of us in the mid to upper 90s. My goodness, see us sizzling out there. Futurecast is showing very low chances of rain. Boy, it's going to be tough. There's 6:30. I said south, St. Augustine, Gainesville, Palatka, Palm Coast would be the area to watch the most, but really a line south of Gainesville, Palatka, and Palm Coast based on the latest information. And then tomorrow, there it is. We got a wind shift, a little trough heading toward us. It's going to be one more blazing day. But tomorrow, if we do see the storms, and we should see a good deal of them, we may see even a strong storm or two. So tomorrow would be a weather impact alert type of day. So good morning, Jacksonville. I will share that with you. Likely you'll see a little red on the screen there because of this extreme heat and maybe a severe storm or two in the afternoon as we start to see a change in the pattern, the transition between the heat dome and some cooler east to northeast breezes. And there it is. By Thursday and Wednesday, Thursday, temperatures back into the 80s. So quick look at our 7-day forecast before we take a break because we've got lots of tropical weather to talk about. And then we've got holiday weather to talk about. But notice we got to get through 2 more hot days. Then the storms return tomorrow and Tuesday. And then we dry out. And things are looking good for the big holiday weekend. We'll talk more about that. But first, we'll have a tropical update, then another short break, and then your big holiday weekend. Stay tuned. All right, let's start with it. Our 7-day forecast. Welcome. We're streaming here live on First Coast News. It's Jumbo Shrimp Day, so I've got my Jumbo Shrimp hat on. Passing the word on. Today's about the heat. Tomorrow's about the heat and the storms. Tomorrow's that double whammy effect. We're likely going to have a weather impact alert, so just keep that in mind. Then things will start to settle. Tuesday, storms shift more to the southwest with that northeast wind. And oh yes, I've got relief. Temperatures upper 80s, low 90s. A big difference. You'll feel it by Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Fresh east to northeast breezes, much better. Okay, more breathable out there. And then for the holiday weekend, we'll slowly heat up, slowly increase those rain chances, but more of your typical pattern. I'm not expecting any big fronts or tropical activity close to home. Speaking of the tropics, voila. There we go. We've got the very latest there. And, you know, I've been monitoring this very closely. We're always paying attention. We're always forecasting the tropics here, right? 20% chance of development over the next 7 days, according to the National Hurricane Center. See the hatched area there. What made this different than other hatched areas that I've ever seen, this was based on AI models. All of our physics-based science models didn't have anything developing. Nothing. This is all based on AI, and it happened yesterday out of the blue, okay? So I said, okay, you know, AI models are good at kind of recognizing the pattern, saying, yeah, we'll watch this area, something may track. But as far as the physics-based models, you need to look at the big picture. We still do need our Euro, our GFS, our American model, and we need humans. So the good news is the other models that didn't show anything, they were doing a good job too, because right now I'm not seeing any big development with this system. Of course, I'm looking at the trends. I'm looking at the big picture and confidence level. So we look at confidence levels, meteorologists, low, medium, and high. I'm still in that high confidence level that a very low chance of development here. So if you're just joining us here on a streaming show, Jacksonville there, we got a area to watch just off the Carolina coastline. If you look at climatology, again, with the experience, AI is not the only thing good at recognizing patterns. We talked about a possible low pressure developing off the Carolina coast this time last week. I said, well, the CPC didn't show anything. It hasn't shown, it's saying it's going to be quiet through at least July 7th, even July 14th I took you through. But I said, you know what? We're going to have some fronts to the north. Just watch the Carolina coast. So again, this is no surprise. What was surprising is we got that hatched area based on AI, solely on AI for the first time I've ever experienced anything like that. So a good heads up that why we're always paying attention. This time of year, this is typical. We pay attention to the southeast coast when we got fronts dangling off the Carolina coastline. But here's what I get out of all this is I look at the big picture. AI models are dynamic models, traditional models. I still see a weak low trying to form, so that's no surprise. That happens with these fronts off the Carolina coast. All right, now watch what happens. Here's Tuesday, 7 a.m. Nothing too strong, right? You don't see a big storm there. I see more of a broad area of low pressure. That's a big, broad area of low pressure. I'm not seeing a tropical storm. You see, the thing I'm excited about is that east to northeast wind here at home. Yeah, it may sag south. A lot of the dynamic models, physics-based models, have a very weak low, and then they weaken it pretty rapidly. And as we look at that weak low, likely to dissipate by Wednesday, Thursday. There you go. And that's taken into account not just our traditional models, but the AI models right now. Their confidence, the tropical signal we saw with the AI models has backed off significantly. Yesterday, we had about 8 to 10 ensemble members, okay, about 8. And waking up today with about 3 members saying, yeah, there might be something to watch or weak low. So that's, even the AI is backing off at this point. So I thought that was interesting as well. So taking the big picture into account as a forecaster, this is what I have. A weak low forms, low chances of development, okay, expected to dissipate by Thursday. And look what the pattern holds. I see a high pressure building back in by late week. So the big 3 to get out of this, we're always paying attention, all right, but at this time I don't have concerns for us at home. So development chances remain low, all right, at this time. Model trends have weakened, all right. I could have shown you some ensembles, AI ensembles. We can get that together. I can show you, we'll get something spruced up for you on that, but I can just take my word that the model trends have weakened. All right, and then the third but not least, no significant impacts expected on the first coast. So for folks that have plans for the 4th of July, this is not going to be something that I don't expect it to impact the first coast for any of our holiday plans. That's great news, okay? So based on the very latest, very positive news in the tropics, development chances remain low, model trends have weakened, no significant impacts expected on the first coast. So yeah, always paying attention, but again, doesn't mean we have to be concerned about every disturbance, and this one for sure holds true. I think it's more of a weak disturbance, not a tropical system to worry about for us. Now, we take a look outside. There we go. The computer, I think, was overheated earlier. We got Jacksonville back in Duval County, Gainesville at 87, 88 Jacksonville, 90 in Brunswick. 88 back toward Valdosta, and there's our feels like temperatures, 100 St. Simons, 101 Brunswick. Folks are saying, please, mercy, have mercy on, not 104 in McClenny. Okay, how we don't have, well, let's just say, we have to pass the word on, check on the pets, check on the neighbors, and if you have friends without air conditioning, you've got to check on those folks too. This is a day where you need air conditioning. Next 12 hours, here's the change today. We're not going to get the big complex of merging storms like we saw yesterday over Duval, parts of Duval, Nassau, St. Johns County. Very low chances of rain, and that'll allow those temperatures to really go up. Some of the latest feels like temperatures, yeah, I went for a forecast of 107 this morning. This is now showing 109. So again, just keeping that door open for maybe some heat advisories this afternoon. And then those 90s will be with us. That's pretty incredible with the drier weather, maybe through 10 o'clock. All right, and even into the overnight hours. So today, heat risk very high to major. So we're like a 3 and 4 out of 4 on the heat risk scale. We're slowing down, hydrating, finding air conditioning, and yes, dangerous if you can't get to that cool spot. Now coming up, something to stay tuned for. We've got one more segment here. We go through 11:30. We've got relief in the forecast. We have a change in the steering flow. I've got a 10-day forecast I think you're going to really enjoy. All right, if you like temperatures closer to where they should be. Stay tuned for that. We'll be right back. Here comes the dome, the heat dome the next 2 afternoons. Heat safety is what it's all about. Wear light colored clothing. We're taking breaks. We're not just hydrating. We're finding the air conditioned spot. All right, less caffeine, more water. Yes, and seeking those activities in the air conditioning. Yesterday I had a nice brunch with my wife and we were outside today. It's going to be a little tougher. It really is. All right, we take a look at changes. You ready for some relief? I promised you. Here we go. All right, the problem we've had, all right, that west flow, southwest, west flow that's taken over our pattern. There's today, tomorrow. Come on, nature. Change the winds. We need a change. We do have a little trough coming from the north. Here we go. And we got that weak low we talked about. And there it is. Do you see that steering flow change? Have mercy. There it is. We got an east-northeast wind developing as we head into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. R-E-L-I-E-F. How do you spell relief? Yeah. East Coast sea breeze. Sea breezes off the ocean. They're back as we head into this week. So let's go right into the expected rainfall. Couple things happening this week. We're going to be pumped up with your Monday motivation. My Monday motivation will be, despite the weather impact alert tomorrow, would be the relief coming our way and kind of a break in some of those storms. It's been quite stormy around the area. Since June 1st, we have a surplus of rain, 5 inches to almost 10 inches in some areas. So yes, the drought, we continue to whittle away at that drought. But notice this week, we're going to start to lower those rain chances. Could be active, most active Monday. The models are still catching on to that. Maybe a part of Tuesday, but Tuesday the storms would be more to the southwest, and then Wednesday, Thursday really starting to dry out. So for our 4th of July weekend, speaking of drying out, this drier pattern should hold through most of the week into the 4th of July. Now, climatologically, we average about 40% chances of storms for Jacksonville. We'll get back closer to normal Saturday for the 4th, but those are more your typical pop-up late day storms that we always track every single year. We're used to working. TV people are used to working holidays. We babysit the radar. I don't mind. It's just part of my job. It's what I do. But it does look like, this weekend for the 4th, more of your typical pop-up storms. We're going to get the shows in, is what I'm saying. Now, Sunday, maybe a little more moisture to work with, minding our P&Ws, meteorologists, looking at the water vapor available, a little bit more so on Sunday. So if you're looking at the 4th of July weekend as a whole, the earlier in the period, the better. And the later we go in the weekend, the higher chances of some of those storms. 10-day forecast. Here we go. Okay, see, Katrina, I've moved this show along. We've got the big holiday coming up this weekend. There's the change in the pattern. Near 100 the next couple of days, down to close to 90 degrees Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then slowly moderating back to the low to mid-90s with higher rain chances. But again, the pattern really not changing for the busier until we head into especially after the 4th of July. So we'll continue to monitor that. And of course, always watching the tropics at this time. We're watching that weak tropical low, really a weak low at this point, and trying to develop, but do not anticipate any impacts here on the first coast. But, always watching it, and we'll continue to keep you updated. So as we look around the area today, there's your exclusive 10-day forecast. Katrina will take us on a little tour here today. Big story is we've got heat advisories officially in Glenn County. All right, all of us really feeling the heat. 105 to 110 in that feels like range in the shade, and already prompting a few heat advisories. That could overspread more of the area as we head into this afternoon. There's that high of 97, feels like temperature for Jacksonville, 107. But some of the model data for our streaming show showing 109. Tomorrow could even be a degree hotter because those storms come late day for the drive home. So tomorrow's the day to watch for a big impact alert for heat, storms. Tuesday transitioning back into some cooler weather. Maybe a few widely scattered storms. I do anticipate things starting to dry out, though, for Duval, points east. And if you're out toward the west, I-75 toward Tampa on the west coast, that's where you'll see more of the storms. And then a great week ahead for our 4th of July. If you're traveling, while we cool off, the rest of the country is really going to heat up, including the nation's capital, New York City, Boston. We could hit triple digits up in the Northeast. So if you're traveling up north, yes, pack cool stuff and stay cool.